Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video let's do the full review, sort of the long-term review of the Realme X7 Max. And guys, if you recall, this was the first smartphone with the Mediatek Dimensity 1200 SoC. It was launched somewhere around first week of June. Then I had used the smartphone for about a week and made a comparison video, and I didn't post its review then because generally what I have noticed is that with new smartphones, generally you get a major OTA update later on, and that actually reflects how the smartphone will behave in real life. In fact, this one also got a major OTA update later on after a few weeks, and as you can see, this is a massive update, almost about 3.61 gigabytes. And in fact, it did change quite a bit of things on this smartphone, and overall I would say I'm really happy with this smartphone. And now I was checking Flipkart. Now it's priced around just about 25,000, which is a very attractive price for this smartphone, considering it's having the Mediatek Dimensity 1200 SoC. So what I'll do is I'll divide this review between pros and cons. What did I like and what did I did not like? So let's start with the pros first. And the first thing that I liked about this smartphone is, again guys, I'll have the specs over here if you want to know the general specs, and these are over here. But let's first talk about the screen. That's a AMOLED screen that this one is having, and it's not a huge screen. It's actually 6.43 inch. That's why if you hold the phone, it's good in hand feel. And in fact, yes, the back is that plastic back, and because of that, the phone simply does not weigh that much. In fact, the weight is just 179 grams, so it feels very comfortable to hold. And coming back to the screen, I like the fact that it's a full HD plus screen. That's what you're getting in this price range, but this is actually a proper 120 hertz refresh rate, guys. And if you notice, very fluid in UI. So again, they have put a good quality screen on this one, and it's that 120 hertz. Hence, when I was using this phone, I did not notice any lagginess or jankiness. As you can see, runs really well, as you can see. Also, this is having the Mediatek Dimensity 1200 SoC, which is the flagship processor by Mediatek. It's based on 6 nanometer processor. Hence, in fact, it's also very power efficient. I'll actually show you the battery stats itself to give you an idea how it works in real life. But overall, the performance of the phone was very good. And again, guys, they also claim that even on the box, it says that it's a 5G smartphone. And I'm happy that this one is not 5G just for the namesake gimmick. In fact, this has 7 bands of 5G, which is actually really good. So yes, we know 5G will be coming eventually in India by end of this year or by early next year. So because it has that 7 bands of 5G, you're sort of future proof. So I like the fact that it has 7 bands of 5G. Okay, moving to the next thing is, and this is a small thing that I noticed, this one also has stereo speakers, one over here, one over here. In fact, though it has that stereo speaker, it still retains the 3.5mm headphone jack, which is becoming a rarity these days in many of the smartphones. So I'm really happy that we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. Okay, now moving to the stereo speakers, this was very surprising. I did not expect this one. In fact, let's just go to copyright free songs, some of the copyright free music, and I'll give you an idea about it. Let's just take this one, and I'm going to increase the volume now, guys. I don't know, it's extremely loud, guys. I'll just keep quiet. As you can see. And another thing that I like is that we have seen many smartphones with stereo speakers, but here the sound, if you noticed, was very balanced. It's not like 70% of the sound is coming from here, only 20-30% sound is coming from. It gives a very good experience. In fact, it also has Dolby Atmos. So in terms of speakers and the loudness, I have to say the speakers are really loud on this one, and that was a big surprise to me. So in terms of multimedia playback, you won't have a problem. Okay, as we are talking about multimedia playback, this device does actually 4K HDR. If I search on YouTube, does support HDR. For example, this is a HDR video, and if you notice how bright and vibrant the picture looks, and if you go to the settings, as you can see, YouTube switched to HDR. So it does, the panel does support HDR. And I also checked with Netflix, guys. in Netflix, if I go over here, if you go to app setting, in fact, I watched quite a bit of shows here and the experience was good. If you go to playback specification, good thing is that it does support wide one L1 support, so you don't have to worry about that. But for some reason, HDR capabilities, it says, is none for Netflix. So I think so Netflix needs to work with this provider, because HDR support hardware wise is there on this smartphone. Anyways, now moving to call quality on this smartphone and network reception. I don't know about you guys, but I do take a lot of calls, and here I would say the call quality and the proximity sensor is excellent. I did not have any issues even taking long calls in this one. So in terms of call quality, it was good. Even the earpiece is very, very loud and clear. So here I would say kudos to Realme, because they're getting the basics right. I feel on a smartphone, the call quality, how's the earpiece, is very important, and here I would say it's a good earpiece. So that way I like it. Even for long calls, I did not have the proximity sensor issue. So in general operations, yes, as you see, it's good. And yeah, here are the quick toggles, and this one also has NFC support. I completely forgot to mention, so you have that. And this was surprising to me regarding the Wi-Fi. Let me actually show you, in fact. And the Wi-Fi performance was very, very good on this smartphone. For example, let's just test this. This is using my Airtel fiber connection, and let's just test the speeds. And as you can see, very, very good speeds that I'm getting on this one. So in terms of Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi performance is excellent on this smartphone. As you can see, it even touched about 480 megabit once. So as you can see, 500, 540, 570. So excellent Wi-Fi. These speeds generally we only see in very high-end premium range Android phones. So that way I would say they did not skimp on that. The Wi-Fi performance was very good on this one. Talking about Wi-Fi, this has also become very important regarding voice over Wi-Fi, and voice over Wi-Fi also works flawlessly on the smartphone. For example, in this area with Airtel, I have a little bit low signal, so I rely on voice over Wi-Fi, and I had no issues. So that way also they got it right. And it also has NFC, and in Bluetooth, again, it has Bluetooth 5.1 support. Okay, moving to the next thing is regarding the battery on this one. This one has a 4500 milliamp hour battery, and the charger, though it's a 65 watt charger, it's capped at 50 watts. So the charging speed is pretty fast because of the 50 watt. But let me actually show you what is the battery life that I'm getting, guys. So you also have this always on display also. I'll just switch it off because I didn't charge the device. It's just at 8%. But let me give you an idea how is the battery life. I saved some screenshots. For example, this was with the always on, and if you notice at 12%, it was off the charger for 1 day, 8 hours, and we got a screen on time of about 5 hours 44 minutes. And if I go over here again, similar, about at 12%, 1 day 10 hours, that's almost 1.5 days of the charger, and still we got a screen on time of 6 hours 6 minutes. And this was with the always on display enabled. But I thought many people might not use it with always on, they'll just use it like this regularly. So I thought what would be the battery life, and as you can see, I'm actually using it currently at 8%. So let's see. This was with always on disabled, but still all these testing was done at 120 hertz, not at 60 hertz. If you keep it on 60 hertz, you might get even better battery life. But let's look at the battery life. If I go over here, as you can see, now it's at 8%, but notice the first screen, guys. It is 1 day 16 hours off the charger, so that's almost 1.5 days, and still we did manage to get 8 hours 30 minutes of screen on time. So yes, if you disable that always on, you will get fabulous battery life on this smartphone. And guys, this was with 120 hertz. If you go drop down to 60 hertz, I didn't test it on 60 hertz to be frank. The screen on time should increase about 30 or 45 minutes easily. So in terms of battery life, the battery life was very good on this one. Though it was just having that 4500 milliamp hour battery, the battery life that we got is very good. And I think that this is thanks to that 6 nanometer SoC with the Dimensity 1200. It's a very efficient chipset. Talking about the chipset also, I did run AnTuTu benchmark also on this one, and in fact, if you look at it, we got a score of 7,13,916. That's almost 7,14,000. And guys, trust me, this is one of the highest core that I have seen with the Mediatek Dimensity 1200 SoC. So in fact, the chipset is very, very good. One of the fastest Dimensity 1200 SoC out there. And in general performance also, as I've told you, the performance was very, very good of this smartphone. And now if we talk about the camera, again, camera is an important part. Again, this one also has that triple camera setup. Actually, the main camera is 64 megapixel. That's a Sony IMX682 that we are getting. Then we have 8 megapixel ultra wide. Then that 2 megapixel that we have on this one, that's actually a macro camera. Front is that punch hole, 16 megapixel. And here are some of the samples that I have taken with this smartphone. Some samples taken. This was regular shot, this was 2x zoom, and to give you an idea about zoom, this was regular shot, this was 2x zoom, and this was actually finally 5x zoom. Outdoors, as you can see, the camera performance was actually pretty good, as you can see with these sample shots. Regular shot, and this was in the portrait bokeh mode. Even at night, I was surprised. As you can see, these shots actually came out pretty good. As you can see, these were in dull lighting conditions. Wide angle, yes, it gets a little bit dark, as you can see. Now moving to even human subjects in dull lighting conditions, as you can see, it did a good job. Even the front facing camera performance, as you can see, in dull lighting was good. This was with all the lights switched off in my office, and this is how it looked when I switched on one light. So guys, these were some of the things that I liked on the smartphone. Now let's move to some of the cons, and some of them are sort of nitpicking, but I thought you guys should know. And the first thing is that the screen quality, as I've told you, is really good. Indoors, I don't have a problem. It's that 120 hertz. That's why in UI it's very, very fluid. You don't have to worry. I didn't feel any jankiness or anything like that. And it's a good quality screen. But in outdoor situation, particularly outdoors in sunny areas, I felt that the brightness could have been better. Even when I was keeping it at full brightness, keeping the auto brightness on, etc. Not that super bright. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it's not visible, but I felt in outdoor conditions the brightness could have been slightly better. Also, moving to the next thing is the back is actually plastic, guys. If you know, it has this dual tone finish. So it's not a glass, guys, but the good thing is that I have been using it without the case, and still I would say I haven't got any scratches on it. In fact, accidentally yesterday the phone got dropped and it fell on this edge like this, and if you look at it, nothing has happened, and that's because of the plastic bag. If it were have glass, you know that edge drop can just shatter it. So that way I would say it's okay, but yeah, it's a personal preference. I would say if you're preferring glass, it does not have glass, it's a plastic bag that you have. But I feel it looks okay, and it actually is not getting that scratches. Anyways, moving to the next thing is that there was some pre-installed bloatware on this one. In fact, I had to disable some of the apps. For example, you have the browser app, and here you have to go here and go to the permissions and deny all the notifications. Sorry, if you go to the manage notifications, you have to switch this off, because by default, if you notice, it's on and this sends notifications. Again, this is the same thing even for the themes app. And Hey Fun was also there. There's one app that was pre-installed. I could uninstall it. So yes, there is some bloatware, and you can uninstall some of the bloatware. For example, the Realme community also, as you can see, you can uninstall. But there are some apps that you cannot uninstall. For example, this FinShell. Again, this is one more app that you cannot uninstall by default. So yes, there was some bloatware, but after disabling that browser and Hey Fun and all those things and the themes notification, I am not getting unnecessary notification over here. This is Amazon app, this is WhatsApp and all those things. Also, yeah, regarding RAM management, as I forgot, the RAM management is good, and Truecaller and other apps that should be in memory work actually well on this device. To summarize, I would say this is actually a pretty good smartphone, and overall I would say the performance of the smartphone was very, very good because of the Dimensity 1200 SoC. We know it's a very fast chipset. Even when we talk about practical features like call quality, the call quality was very good. Also the speakers, as I've told you, the stereo speakers, one of the loudest that I've seen. So overall, I would say for this price point, the new price point around 25,000 that I saw on Flipkart, I feel it's a very, very good Android smartphone with the Mediatek Dimensity 1200 SoC. So if you're having that sort of a budget, and if you can grab the smartphone at that price point, I would say it's a pretty good smartphone. So what I'll do is, guys, I'll leave the link of Flipkart in the description below. So guys, check it out. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.